Shortly ago, President Biden departed the White House en route to New York to attend the United Nations General Assembly, the 78th section of the United Nations General Assembly. The president will be in New York through the middle of the week. Tomorrow, Monday, the president is scheduled to attend to democratic reception in New York. On Tuesday, he will deliver his remarks at the United Nations headquarters in New York. And after his remarks, the president is scheduled to meet with United Nations General Secretary General Antonio Guterres. And later on that afternoon, the president will also host Central Asia 5+1 summit in New York. Later that evening, the president will be joined by the First Lady. The president and the First Lady Jill Biden will host a leaders' reception at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York for leaders that are attending the United Nations General Assembly. On Wednesday, President Biden will participate in a bilateral meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, and later on that afternoon, he will meet with the president of Brazil, President Lula da Silva, who was here earlier this year for a bilateral meeting with President Biden at the White House. Later on that evening, the president will also participate in two campaign receptions in New York before departing back for a trip back to the White House. We will be bringing you more updates. It's a busy week ahead. On Thursday, President Biden is expected to host Ukrainian president at the White House for a bilateral meeting. This whole week at the UN General Assembly, the president will talk about unity, about democracy, about climate change, and how leaders can cooperate together. It's been a busy month for the president. He just returned earlier this month. He traveled to the G20 summit in India, where he met with world leaders, the 20 largest economic across the world, leaders from Africa, from the African Union, from Nigeria. The president of Nigeria was also, President Tinubu was also in attendance. President Biden is expected to use his trip to the United Nations to build upon a successful trip to earlier this month to the G20 summit in India, where a lot of initiatives were launched in cooperation with the European Union and on global infrastructure for global infrastructure for developing countries, as well as for countries in the Indo-Pacific region. During his remark, the president will talk about mobilizing financial resources for the global south, for developing countries. President Biden will also, in his remarks, reaffirm and advocate for the principle at the core of the international order. The president will also talk about human rights and all the need and underscore the need for all multilateral institutions to be more representative and democratic and effective. Separately, First Lady Dr. Jill Biden will also arrive in New York tonight. Is expected the First Lady will deliver remarks at a UNICEF Champions for Children Rights at the Heart of the Sustainable Development Goal at a reception in New York today. Tomorrow, the First Lady will attend a meeting of the Alliance of Spouses of Heads of State and Representatives an organization of Latin American first spouses in New York. On Tuesday, as I mentioned, the First Lady, we joined the President, the First Lady and the President Biden. We hosted a reception, a leaders reception at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. On Wednesday, the First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden, we attend the meeting, we convene a meeting with the African First Lady, global policymaker, development partner, and advocate to mobilize support and for initiative on gender equality in Africa. The African First Lady for Development is an organization of African First Ladies. Earlier this year, the First Lady Dr. Jill Biden convened a meeting with them in New York on several initiatives, and they built upon their first meeting last December during the U.S. Africa Leaders Summit. This week is a packed week for both the First Lady, for both the President Biden and the First Lady in New York. On Wednesday, as I said, the President will be back. On Wednesday, we'll be back at the White House. On Thursday, he will welcome Ukrainian President to the White House for a bilateral meeting. We will be bringing you updates from the White House and also from New York at the United Nations General Assembly.